I'll now call to order this Senate session of the 33rd Senate. Secretary Myers, do we have a quorum?
Quorum has been met.
Excellent. Seeing as how we have quorum, we are now in line for the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda was sent out last Friday. Secretary Myers will display it on the screen now as well. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made to the agenda? Seeing no objections, the agenda is approved. We are now in line for the approval of the minutes from our last meeting of the 33rd Senate. For the next minute, please read over the minutes shared on the screen. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Seeing no objections, we'll be moving in to approve the minutes. Seeing no objections, the minutes are approved. We'll now move to hear from students who have come to speak during open forum. This is the time where any student or anyone from our university community, anybody, is able to come and speak to the Senate. Now is their chance. So are there any students or anyone wishing to speak during open forum? If so, please just raise your hand and I can call on you. We will now close open forum. We're now in line for officer reports. To ensure an efficient meeting like we've been doing, especially here on Zoom, we will be limiting all executive and legislative officer updates to 3 minutes. So first and foremost, the chair would like to recognize President Asim Ahmed.
What's going on, y'all? So I got a couple updates. One, we had a meeting with the health center on Thursday to discuss how we're going to move forward with this wellness representative initiative. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, contact Sierra. She definitely knows what we're talking about, and so she can describe that to you. And we're moving forward on that. We've contacted RHA and housing as well. And we're going to talk with student care and outreach as well. So there's just a lot of parties and stakeholders in this, and we're going to meet with them individually before we bring them all together. Second, voting is happening on campus. If you are interested in being a poll worker, not a poll worker, but a volunteer, please fill out this interest form that I'm dropping in the chat right now. If you haven't already. If you have already, you're good. And so essentially we won't be supplying poll workers because those people get paid and it's a trained position, but we will be supplying people who help maintain social distancing guidelines, hand out relevant forms, et cetera, et cetera. However, there is a very necessary and pertinent Zoom information session you have to go to before you are able to go. And that's mandatory because they go over, there's things that are allowed and not allowed. Like, for example, you can't wear partisan t-shirts when you're doing it. So that's mandatory if you want to do that. So please fill that out if you're interested. Third, we are starting an initiative with partnering up with downtown businesses to see if we can expand the student discount code or student discounts, and how we can uphold and uplift businesses run by Black families and immigrant families and undocumented families, et cetera. And lastly, I am on the CRC, which is the COVID Response Committee. So if you have COVID-related concerns about campus, about anything, please go ahead and put that almost in a formal presentation. Not super formal, you can just type it out on a document, but type it on a document and email it to me. That is the avenue that SGA is going ahead and addressing COVID-related concerns, is the CRC. So please contact me individually, email me, please don't text me. And that is all I got.
Thank you, President Ahmed. The chair recognizes Vice President Quapong.
Hey everybody, I hope everyone is having a fabulous Tuesday. My updates are pretty short. As you guys know, all the stuff with the University Council is over. There's not going to be a meeting this upcoming month, but it's going to resume in November because I didn't have enough updates and stuff to be able to do a meeting. So that's that. And then I've been working with some cabinet members about some potentially new exciting things that have to do with diversity and inclusivity training for all first-year students at the University of Georgia. So we're just trying to do some research with that. We were in a focus group today with Sierra, Austin Carson, and some other people, just talking to different administrators about how we can make UGA a more inclusive community and environment for everyone. So that was really great. And today I also just, not really an update, but I'm super excited for the confirmation of the Supreme Court justices. This has been a long time coming, and we're just really happy to finally see that all happening. So I'm really ready for that.
Thank you, Vice President Quapong. The chair now recognizes Treasurer Cook.
Wait, can y'all hear me? Okay, hey y'all. Sorry, I just got done at the barber shop, so that's why I'm in this place. But yeah, so we just got our memos back from VP Wilson, and he accepted our $950 allocations. We now we have $8,050 left in our allocations budget. And this week we're supposed to have small clubs, but none of those clubs that applied met the guidelines. So they were not allowed to do it. So we had no small clubs today. And that is all my updates.
Thank you, Treasurer Cook. That now brings us into legislative officer updates. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. So good to see everyone. We have a good Senate meeting lined up. So I have a quick few updates for you. I'll go pretty fast, not take up too much time. But yesterday, I had a meeting with some other students from campus, like in a Zoom meeting with VP Wilson and Shrivastov, speaking about who's the VP for instruction, speaking about students' experiences this fall and like how that's been for students. And they're asking questions and wanting feedback because they're trying to make some really hard decisions for spring. And they're having another meeting with some other students later this week. So they're still continuing to meet with people. So there's some important changes that'll be coming up that'll be made public pretty soon, around in November. So we look forward to hearing what those changes are. But so I was able to voice some of the student concerns and some stuff I've heard from y'all as senators and everything like that and communicate that to them. So that was a really great experience. Also, this week we worked with extra special people at UGA and with University of Alabama to get the Dress Down the Dogs event, which is an event to show support for students at UGA, University of Alabama, just everywhere with Down syndrome, and is to raise awareness for that. And so we made a video. We have a bill coming up later on, and yeah, Senator Dyer showing her support, and we have a bill lined up for that, showing support for that. So we're really excited. And the Dress Down for the Dogs game is with the University of Alabama coming up this weekend. I was really excited for that. And I want to give special thanks to the people that worked with that to make it a reality, and especially Senator Fine, who extra special people, something really super close to her heart, as well as some of our Senate staff, like Madison Drummond and Matthew McDaniel, for making that a reality. So thank you all so much. But that's all I have. President Pro Temp Sierra Thomas, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a couple of updates. Thanks. I hope you guys are all having a great evening. Like Sam said, Dress Down with the Dogs is coming up. So be sure to dress down if you're on campus on Friday, and to dress down if you're going to the game on Saturday. And be sure to tag SGA and ESP so we can repost. The Arch News went out today from SGA, so a couple of surveys went out with that. Please be sure to fill those out if you haven't already, and also to share them with your friends, with your classes, clubs, organizations, etc. Just as another reminder, we have 2 more Senate meetings for this semester. So if you want legislation to go to the floor at the meeting on the 27th, don't forget that that is due this Friday to me. So please be sure that you're kind of working on that and keeping that due date in mind. We also have a piece of legislation coming to the floor tonight about the flu GA clinics from Laura Ramirez. So be sure to get your flu shot. And as Awesome was talking about earlier, early voting will be hosted at Stegman from the 27th to the 29th. SGA plays a big role in providing volunteers for that. So be sure to fill out that interest form that he sent out if you're at all interested. And yeah, that is all I got. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Senator Thomas. And yes, just to echo, please get your flu shot. If that's what you do, please go get it. I highly encourage you. But moving right along to committee updates, does any committee chair have an update? If so, raise your hand and I'll call on you. The chair recognizes Senator Kervin.
Hey everyone, thank you for your time. So I'm the chair of the safety committee. We've been working on a few little things right now, but the main thing is we're organizing a socially distanced campus safety walk, just to kind of identify areas of campus that might need better lighting, better security, just to keep our people safe. So yeah, that's all that we have right now.
Thank you, Senator Kervin. The chair recognizes Senator Will Harris.
Yo, it's me, Will Harris, chair of VDI. Got three quick things. So one thing I'm working on is with the committee is finishing up some legislation I was working on last semester before COVID hit with the reestablishing Earth Week at UGA. Some things have to be like tweaked a little bit because of like COVID guidelines. So we don't really know what that's going to look like since it takes place in the spring. Senators Libby Poland and Isabel Flanagan introduced an idea that they're working on with the University Health Center in getting SANE certification for nurses. A major obstacle with that right now, though, is the fact that no places in the immediate area offer SANE certification. So we're trying to like work out some ways to like, you know, deal with that and probably like get that still kind of like accomplished. And also tomorrow I will be having a conversation with VP Wilson and some other student affairs employees about ways to better like serve our like underrepresented and marginalized populations on this campus. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Senator Harris. The chair now recognizes Senator Abdelwahab.
Hi everyone, I hope midterm season has been treating you all well. Just two really quick updates. The first is that Senator Farrell and Senator Eden have been working on a sustainability survey that's about composting. So I really want to encourage you guys to send that out. That was sent out in the, or to fill that out. It was sent out in the sustainability newsletter on Monday. And also Senator Isaacs has been working with Senator Nadad on researching free CPR programs in other colleges. And they're kind of working towards a strategy to implement something similar at UGA. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I'd recommend that you reach out to them. Thank you all.
Thank you, Senator Abdelwahab. The chair now recognizes Senator Baxter.
Yeah, so I just have one quick update. Senator Gabby Gagliano has started working on an initiative with UGA Athletics and University Union to provide a football Zoom stream for students, which is pretty exciting. So stay tuned for updates on that. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Senator Baxter. The chair now recognizes Senator Howard.
Can everybody hear me? Awesome. Hey, everybody. We have a couple of quick updates from the EAC. Senator Chu is working on a proclamation of support for the School of Social Work's social justice handout, and she's looking into ways to make that available school-wide. I'm currently in talks with the director of the McFall Center on campus about looking at parent parking, ways that we can allocate that for next semester. I'm also working with Senator Kervin, drafting a proclamation in support regarding the Hope Scholarship, just so we can have something on the record with that for the next time that reallocation of the Hope Scholarship comes up, because that should be coming up within the next couple of years. And then the committee as a whole is looking into and researching grade forgiveness policies. We currently don't have one, or if we do, it's not a very good one. And so we're looking at some peer institutions to see how they implemented grade forgiveness policies and how we can look to implement that at UGA. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Senator Howard. With that, we have some staff updates. The chair recognizes Matthew McDaniel.
Thank you, President Bryant. So just to update you all, we are working on a lot of things within staff. And so one of the big things being the listening tours that we are conducting and hosting for you all. So many of you all came out and wanting to engage with student organizations, particularly around the issues of race, ethnicity, and community here on this campus. And so we're working to coordinate those. We've already begun speaking to student organizations and emailed them. So those of you who have already emailed me, we'll send out a schedule soon for those times for you to sign up for. Those also went out in the Arch News with the other surveys that also mentioned, and so that's extremely helpful. So make sure you all are taking the surveys. That's the first step. There's some in there. The one-pagers are fully available for students to locate COVID-19 information. So there's 3 of those, and we're working on one additional one for policies and guidelines for student organizations. And that's as a result of one of the follow-up from an earlier piece of legislation this semester. In addition to the listening tours, we'll be working closely with the presidential task force that's been charged by President Moorhead on race, ethnicity, and community. And so they're already working on some great things, and they wanted me to share some updates with you. They have dedicated and are putting funding towards a lecture hall focused on issues regarding race and policy here on this campus to make sure that that is a priority. And so there'll be staffing for that, as well as lectures and so on and so forth. In addition, you all should be seeing an announcement in the coming days, if it's not already out as we're probably speaking. The university is hiring a diversity education officer that will be housed here at the university to assist in crafting those policies. And so those are being worked on, and there'll be a few more announcements coming through in the coming weeks. And so we're keeping very close we're working relationships with these committees. There will be hearing and taking the feedback from the listening tours and from you all. So if you have any things in regards to policies regarding that, please let us know. We're also working with the strategic planning committees that are charged by the President's Office for the strategic plan, focused on student life and particularly around making this a more welcoming community. And so please let me know if you have any ideas or suggestions for that, and we can work with the committee, but they will be engaged in our listening tour as well as we go about working with student organizations to gather feedback for those things. And so please make sure you're doing that. Another huge thing that we'll get to soon is definitely ESP is we're taking a lot of time to spend on. So please share that information on your stories, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Madison's been working tirelessly to make sure that information is up and available. So if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I know we have, right now, staff is working about 12 different projects. So if you just let me know that we can get that assigned properly and make sure that the gears are moving on your project as well. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew. With that, we'll be moving into our new business. So the first thing up on the agenda is the confirmation of associate justices. So since we're on Zoom, it's kind of weird to do it this way. So generally we'd have them stand before us, but on their behalf, I'm going to be listing them off. So we have the nominees we have before us are Deshaun Jameson, Katie Pittner, Emily Proser, Owen Ozaki, and Venetia Kudumuri. So on their behalf, I will now accept questions. Are there any questions for the nominees from the Senate? If so, please raise your hand. Senator Green.
Thank you, President Senator Bryant. So in keeping with the fact that I am co-chair of the Committee on Budget and Oversight, and in keeping with the fact that this is a position, by which I mean the position of Associate Justice, that wields quite a bit of influence over the legislative and executive processes of the SJA of UGA, I hereby submit the motion to table the nomination of the current Associate Justices until such time as that we can render a greater level of due diligence on our own part into their nomination.
There's been a motion to table. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll
okay. So there's been a motion and a second to table the confirmation of the Associate Justices. With that, okay, so with the tabling, that has to go into debate. So with the motion to second, we open debate. Are there any senators wishing to speak for or against this motion? Chair recognizes Senator Thomas.
Sorry, I always do that. I forgot to unmute myself, but I'd like to speak against the motion. I feel like I've been pretty closely involved with the process of choosing associate justices. It's been something that I've been following along with for a while. And the application process it was open to all students. Everyone was interviewed. I don't see a reason to table it. You all were sent the letter with the names of the associate justices on the agenda. So you have had time to review those names. It's also not the Senate's job to vet associate justices. That's the job of the Chief Justice, where the only reason we would table it is if anybody has a concern about the ability of the associate justices to do their jobs. And I don't have any such concerns. So unless anybody does, I don't see a reason to table.
Thank you, Senator Thomas. The chair recognizes Senator Abdel-Wahab.
Yeah, I want to second everything that Senator Thomas said. And I also just, I guess, a brief question or just a little bit of confusion about the fact that the purpose of the Supreme Court is to oversee the Senate. So I'm not really sure why we would take it upon ourselves to oversee them. I mean, I think going off of what Senator Thomas said, the process has been done fairly to my knowledge, and this really hasn't been a problem in the past 2 Senates I've been here, so I'm not really sure why it is now.
Thank you, Senator Abdel-Wahab. The chair recognizes Senator Harris.
Yeah, just echoing everything Senator Thomas and Senator Abdel-Wahab said before me. I just don't really see a reason to table. I don't feel like the process itself, like what we're gonna have to go through, is explained well enough for like the rest of the Senate really vote intelligently on it. And also, I just kind of like don't really see a reason to table. Everything's like in order from my standpoint. And so I would also like to just speak against this motion.
Thank you, Senator Harris. The chair now recognizes Senator Mehta.
I'd like to pose a question. In all honesty, based on the explanations, I'm not quite sure why we think due diligence hasn't been done. So if someone could answer that for me.
Thank you, Senator Mehta. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this? Senator Deignan.
Yeah, I'm going to speak in favor of what Connor said. We do believe in the process of the vetting that other people have done. But coming from an oversight role, I personally, and I know the rest of my committee, would also like to get to know these candidates just to ensure that everything is going to work smoothly. So it's more just a little more of a get to know you type thing to ensure that we're getting the best possible people.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Deignan. Chair recognizes Senator Green.
Thank you. And just to further clarify what I'm saying, this is not an indictment or a vote cast in doubt of the due diligence that's been done already. But as an individual who is on the Committee of Budget and Oversight, for the simple reason that I am, shall we say, extremely focused on the concept of oversight, I do not feel that 2 days is enough time for the Committee of Budget and Oversight, and frankly for the Senate, to simply go on faith. And that may simply be a misunderstanding on my part, but as an individual, I would appreciate at least another week or two to get to know these candidates and to understand exactly what they're bringing to the table and how they will be fulfilling the role for the next 2 years, because this is a very influential position that they're being appointed to, not elected to.
Thank you, Senator Green. The chair recognizes Senator Harris.
I am still muted, my bad. Again, I feel like our job isn't to vet appointees in the Senate. If anything, the Supreme Court is the one that holds us accountable and makes sure that legislation we pass is constitutional and things like that. So I feel like this is a bit of an overstep to want to get to know them a little bit better, because we are not the ones who do that. So I feel like this is a bit of a, I don't know, but it's a little sketch in my opinion. So
Um, Senator Dyer.
Hey, I also want to support what Jack and Connor are saying. Sorry, I'm a little congested, but I totally agree with what they're saying, especially just because like this is such an important role, and just to kind of use some of the verbiage that we've been using. This is a 2-year position, and like they are holding Senate accountable, but it's a 3-way street. Like we all have to hold each other accountable. So these are people that we need to be able to trust, and they need to be able to trust us. And I think that building a relationship with each of these people before we go ahead and vote them in would be a much more beneficial way to go ahead and build that foundation for that relationship, just because I mean, we've had their name, literally just their names for 2 days. I mean, and if I'll be honest, I didn't look at the agenda until 20 minutes before the meeting, and I'm sure a lot of us are in the same boat. So we need to just kind of take a step back, and yes, it is their responsibility to hold us accountable, but like I said, like it's also our responsibility to hold them accountable. And there's definitely a need for us to take a step back and just be like, you know what, if these people are really awesome and they are the people who need to be in the Supreme Court, then they'll get approved, and they'll either get approved today or they'll get approved after we take it.
Also, I have lots of hands raised. I'm going to try to go with people who haven't spoken yet, and then for y'all who have spoken, I'm going to like backtrack with y'all, just so everyone's aware. Next up, Senator Malice.
Awesome. And this is a genuine point of clarification. This isn't like rhetorical at all, I promise. And I'd like, if another senator has information on this, that'd be great. I think a lot of other senators probably, this would be informative as well. But just to me, if we don't have any supervisory role, we have no obligation to essentially check the quality, and that this is not specifically towards any of the nominees, but I'm just curious as to what our role is. If they don't get confirmed unless we pass them, then there is inherent supervision that's required, or we wouldn't have to vote on them for them to be justices. That's a genuine question. Like, what if we don't have oversight, then why do we vote on them?
Great, thank you, Senator Malice. Was that like a question, like a request for information one? Because if that's like a request for information, then anybody can answer it.
Yeah, it's a very general, this is like to all entire Senate. If anybody has, if I guess if we're voting, then why are we voting if it's not to in some way supervise or check the nominees? And that, again, that's genuine.
I would say that like we're not here to necessarily check the nominees, but to check the process. So to ensure that the associate justices were chosen fairly, that they were interviewed, that the application was open to the whole student body. But the decision on who to appoint as associate justices is the sole obligation of the Chief Justice of SGA. I mean, the job of budget and oversight, I think, is to make sure, again, that constitutional and statutory procedures are being followed. But unless someone else can point out a reason why we wouldn't confirm any of these justices, or in some way in which the Constitution or statutes have been violated, I don't see the Senate's role in tabling this. That's not our job.
Thank you for that.
I'm going to close the request for information. Moving along and thank you, Senator Malice. The next person is Senator Becker.
Yeah, I want to speak in opposition of the motion. I feel like if it really is as informal as just like a little bit of more time to get to know these people, and there's not really anything between now and then that's going to change whether or not they are going to get confirmed. And quite frankly, it seems to me like they're not. And furthermore, we don't have any like real say in if they get confirmed or not, other than just voting by slate to confirm all of them all. It seems to me like unlikely that anything is going to change between when we confirm it now and if we confirm it like next week and table it. So it seems to me just kind of like there's not really much reason for a table at all.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Becker. Senator Fatima Niani.
Good evening. So I have just one question, if we're still allowed to ask questions. How long is the timeline usually? Like, I know that, like, with COVID is probably different, but how long is it usually?
Like timeline for like appointments?
Yes, of the justices.
They're just like added to the agenda. And we generally have the agenda sent out by Friday. So it gives senators ample time to review, and they're able to access that, like how Senator Thomas sends out the agenda on Fridays to give senators ample time to go and look at like the stuff that's coming up on the docket.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Also, I'm sorry, I see all of y'all who have spoken before. We keep getting new people, so I'm gonna go to them first. Senator Fatima, Senator Elmore.
Hi, so can everybody hear me? Okay, so my question realistically is, if we're concerned about getting to know them, how would that look like? And anybody can answer. If all we're concerned about is getting to know them before we confirm them, what realistically could we do between now and next week or the week after to ensure that, instead of just tabling it, not doing anything, and then we're back in the same situation?
Okay. Thank you, Senator Elmore. Moving right along. Who's new? Senator Carlton Smith.
So we've had these names for a few days. We've had it since at least Friday that we've all been able to sit with it and review it. So we all knew this was coming. While the name of it carries a big weight, because we've had this information for at least the past 5 days, I speak in opposition to tabling because we've had time to digest and sit with this information. We should move forward with the confirmation process.
Thank you, Senator Smith. Senator Marks.
Hey, so I just have one question, and my question is, I'm sorry. My question is, how come the Senate isn't the person how come the Senate isn't the person who checks the who kind of panels it like the actual Senate would, like the actual United States Senate does in the first place? I don't know if you can answer that, or like how come it's just the Supreme Court? How come it's just the justice and not the Senate who does it in the first place? So we could avoid this.
Yeah, and that's a request for information if anyone would like to answer.
So the Chief Justice is also confirmed by the Senate. That happens, I think I can't remember if it was before we left for the summer or at the beginning of the summer. But essentially, in confirming the Associate Justice, we are placing our faith in that individual, that they are capable of doing their jobs. And part of their job is, besides upholding the governing documents of SGA, choosing appointed justices. And I feel like that has been done, so.
Yeah. Is there anyone else
Okay,
speaking
thank
on
you.
the request? Senator Dagnan.
Yeah, just to answer a few of the questions that have been asked in the past. So to address when we got the information for the appointments and the names, those have actually only been available for 48 hours. So that does crunch the timeline. I know we're all busy people. So getting to actually ruminate over that information may not have happened in the appropriate amount of time, which is why we're sitting here in debate today. Additionally, in terms of the process that I and Senator Green and the Committee on Budget and Oversight visualizes, it would be a formal hearing where the Budget and Oversight Committee would essentially, interview the nominee, find out their their thoughts on the role of the judicial branch in the Student Government Association. And essentially we would either confirm or deny this person of a nomination. My hope is that we can run through these, love every single candidate and appointee, and then we would formally obviously come back here and nominate them on the floor. But essentially we're looking at a formal hearing where we prepare some questions to truly find out what these nominees are about, and how they view the role of an associate justice in the judicial branch. So I hope that clears some things up.
I'm going to close the request for information and go back into debate. Senator Howard.
Yeah, I just want to say, an informal hearing and all that sounds nice in theory, but that's not how our Constitution is written up. It's how the U.S. Constitution is written up. It's not how the SGA Constitution is written up. So I think that this really is a non-question, because the processes that are set out in our statutes and our procedures have been followed to the T. So for that, I speak in opposition of tabling.
Thank you, Senator Howard. Senator Vora.
Hey, thank you. So I had a question about, like in these past 5 days, the vetting that we have done, what more can we do if we just table it for now? Is there a plan to vet them anymore? Is there an oversight committee in place? Like what plan is there? And that would get, that time would help.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Vora. Are you asking that as like a request for information and not as debate? So I do need people. If you have like a question, I need you to specify this request for information beforehand. That way it can be opened to the body to like answer that. If it's debate, then you go right ahead. But if it's a request for information, then I need you to be like, Mr. President, or Senator President, request for information, and then we can go forward. But just to note forward. So I'm going to assume that was a request for information, Senator Vora. Does anyone have an answer for that? I have so many hands. Unmute yourself and speak if you do. Okay, moving on. I'm going to go back up to the list. Senator Thomas.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to motion to yield my time for 5 minutes to President Asim Ahmed.
Yeah, so I know I'm from the exec side, but I want to make a few points of clarification.
Sorry. I got it. A motion has to be done to suspend the rules, the normal rules of order. Non-senators cannot speak at this time. So Senator Thomas, do you have a motion to suspend the normal order?
Yes, I motion to suspend the rules for 5 minutes to allow President Asim Ahmed to speak.
Okay, thank you. So there's been a motion, a second, to suspend the normal rules of order to allow President Ahmed to speak. All those in favor, and there's been a second. All those in favor, please indicate aye by clicking the green check, nay by clicking the red X. And please go and vote. And the suspension of the rules requires 2/3. And hang with us while we count votes, y'all. It's kind of hard on Zoom, so sorry. And all senators should be voting. I see senators who still have not voted, so please get in your vote. This is my final ask for votes. I've scrolling, I think there's still a couple of people that have not. This is my final call, and then I will count votes. Okay, I'm calling. One second, he calculated the wrong 2/3. Okay, with that, with 2/3, the senators present is 31. With a vote of 30 ayes to 16 nays, the motion fails. That we then go back into debate. I'm clearing everyone's votes and everyone's hand raises, so we're back in debate. So if you would like to speak, please raise your hand. Senator Harris.
Yeah, I'm a bit perplexed right now as to, what exactly, like, again, is the angle here. If we really want to get to know these people a little bit more, you have, and you've had a chance to do that. Again, as Bradley Howard said, process have been followed to a T. There's been no issues here. I'm just very curious, and Senator Green, if you could, I guess this is like a point of clarification now, but please explain why you would like to get to know these people a little bit more in greater detail, because right now I feel like much of the Senate and many of us are very confused as to like what the big issue is here.
The chair will recognize Senator Green.
Yeah, I'm happy to clarify. And I understand that this is obviously confusing to quite a few people. So I'm going to spell out my very personal thoughts on it, right? I understand that if we're talking from a purely structural standpoint, then there is no issue here. I acknowledge that. But what I am up here talking about, and the reason I placed this motion before you all to begin with, is for the very simple fact that we were all elected, right? Each of the senators here was elected to represent a portion of the student body and to vote in their interests. And I believe the majority part of that is being fully informed on what we are voting on. Now, taking that taking that alongside the fact that these associate justices will be appointed for 2 years, and they do have significant sway over the judicial process of SGA, and I am certain that these are, eminently qualified individuals. But as a senator serving on the chair, or not, I'm sorry, not on the chair, on the Committee of Budget and Oversight, specifically the oversight part, and as somebody who does not believe that the Senate of SGA should, quite frankly, be a rubber stamp for nominations, I believe that we have a duty to do our due diligence and to take more than 48 hours to get to know people that are going to be in positions far longer than any of us are. Because quite frankly, we are directly elected. The executive branch is directly elected. But noting that these are individuals who are nominated by somebody who is nominated, that is one degree of separation from the direct student body one more degree than I am comfortable with. And so I would quite frankly like, at the very least, just 2 more weeks till the next full session that we can vote on, to have the opportunity to speak to these people, even just by text, to understand their nominees, and to really get to know them before I can give them my wholehearted and full-throated approval. And so that is why I'm putting this motion on the floor. I don't expect everybody to share my view, but that is my personal thoughts on the matter.
Respectfully, Senator Green, it's not about what your opinions are. It's about what's in our Constitution. And we have a job to uphold the Constitution of SGA.
Thank you, Senators Harris and Green. Just a reminder that you have to be recognized by the chair to speak. Moving right along. So there's a motion to end debate. Motions trump people wishing to speak, so I have to acknowledge that. Is there a second to end debate?
I second the motion.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second to end debate. All those in favor, please say aye by indicating the green check. Please indicate nay by the red X. And please, please, please make sure you vote. I'll be doing a couple calls for it. If I do not see everyone voting, then after that it will be called and we will count. This just needs a majority, and with a vote of 33 ayes to 10 nays, the motion to end debate passes. That will then move us into voting on the motion to table. So we will now be voting on the motion to table. Tabling also requires a majority. So all those in favor of tabling, please indicate by the green check mark, nay by the green red X, excuse me. Please make sure you're voting. There are still some senators who have not voted. I'm being told that there's like some first years who are voting who shouldn't be voting. So please make sure that only the 5 voting members are voting, please. Okay, I'm calling it. With a vote of 21 ayes, 26 nays, the motion fails. Okay. Okay, thank you all. With that, we then revert back to what our original agenda was. So we will now go back to the confirmation of the Associate Justices nominees since the tabling motion failed. Give me 1 second to reset, y'all. I'm sorry. That was a lot. Okay. So before us is nominees are Deshaun Jameson, Katie Pittner, Emily Proser, Owen Azaki, and Venetia Kudamiri. Do I hear a motion and how to proceed with voting? And I'm going to assume that the question period is ended. Okay. Senator Thomas, you've asked for a motion to approve by roll call. Do you intend that to be, the roll call is like what we're doing because we can like see everyone's roll call. I need to know, I need to hear a motion for slate, or I need to hear a motion to, on one of the candidates at a time?
I move to vote by slate.
Okay, there's been a motion to vote by slate. I see a second. So there's been a motion, the second, to approve by slate, meaning that they're all just voted on at once and given approval. All those in favor of approving by slate, please indicate by clicking the green check mark, and please indicate no by clicking the red X. This requires a simple majority. All right, with that, the motion to vote by slate passes. We'll now move into the voting on the nominees. The question before us is the approval by slate of the aforementioned nominees. All those in favor of approving the nominees by slate, please indicate so by clicking the green check mark, aye. All opposed, vote nay. The chair recognizes Senator Mehta.
Can I make a point of order to allow more time for voting? Because the first year senators are allocated only 5 votes and there's 16 of us, so we need to have some discussion beforehand to decide how to proportion this.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you. That's totally fine. Thank you for letting me know. With that in mind, the first year senators are allocated 5 votes, and they don't always just make decisions on their own. They make decisions like together as a body. So sorry, voting will be a little bit slower, especially with some things like this. They're kind of like surprise. We'll give them some ample time to get that done. We'll give like an extra minute. Also, just let everyone know, if your vote's not on there, it will be counted as an abstention. We have that and everything, so. Also, I do want to remind everyone that like some of the stuff that's going on in the chat, this isn't necessarily like the proper format for some of this stuff to be happening. So please refrain from using it that way. It's meant more for like updates and not for backroom discussion. Okay, with that, I'm calling it with a vote of okay, people keep changing. 39 ayes to 3 nays. The nominees are approved by slate. Congratulations. Okay, thank you, everyone. Moving right along. We have proclamation 3304. I will now invite the senator, our author, Senator Laura Ramirez, to come down to the floor and speak on her piece of legislation.
Hey guys, so basically this proclamation is to help promote the Flu UGA campaign that's being organized by the University Health Center and the College of Pharmacy. It's to help encourage students, staff, and faculty to receive their flu shots this season. We've had a couple of flu clinics already around campus with different locations such as Tate, Terry College, Brooks Hall, and we will be having it next week, Thursday, October 22nd at the College of Pharmacy during Pharmtoberfest, where you will also be able to get health visits or anything like that. We've included different clauses that explain why you should get your flu shot during the month of October and why it's also extremely important that you get it this year to help our healthcare workers who are still dealing with the COVID pandemic. So as Sam and Sarah said earlier at the beginning of this meeting, please make sure to get your flu shot this season. And I stand for questions.
Thank you, Senator Ramirez. Are there any questions for the author? If so, please indicate by raising your hand. Okay. With no questions, thank you, Senator Ramirez. We now move into debate on this piece of legislation. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against this proclamation? Seeing none, I will end debate. Do I hear a motion to vote on the piece of legislation?
We can't type in the chat anymore. So motion to move into voting.
Second.
Okay. There's been a motion, a second to vote. So with that, we'll move into voting with no objections. The question before us is the passage of Proclamation 3304. All those in favor, please vote aye. All against, please vote nay. And we are missing votes, so make sure you're getting in there and getting your vote in, please. With a vote of 44 ayes and 0 nays, the proclamation passes. Congratulations, Senator Ramirez. Okay. Moving right along, we will come to Proclamation 3305.
Allison, are you still in here? Sorry, I know we are.
The chair will now recognize the authors.
Thank you, Sam.
So basically, this is a proclamation in support of Dress Down with the Dogs, which I don't know if anyone remembers from last year. We did it with the University of South Carolina. This year, we'll be working with the University of Alabama. And it's in conjunction with ESP at UGA, just as a way for us to show support and increase awareness of students with Down syndrome on campus. Yeah, that's actually really it. I'm sure you've seen a lot of posts on social media, so it'd be great if you guys can share those. Alabama is going to work on passing this at their Senate, I believe, the end of this week, and I think Matthew can give a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, thank you, Allison, and thank you all for bearing with us. I know we had the individuals from ESP, but they had to leave early because we didn't quite anticipate the great debate that you all had. So moving forward, as Allison mentioned, we worked with the University of South Carolina last year. Was the first time that any SEC school had passed a joint resolution. We're passing a joint one with the University of Alabama. It's going through their Senate on Thursday evening of this week, promoting both our program as well as theirs for students who have disabilities on our campus, as well as the programs that serve students with Down syndrome. And so we are in partnership with Extra Special People, just like Allison said, but we're working in conjunction with the University of Alabama very closely. They're promoting this on campus to Dress Down, since the game is in Tuscaloosa. And so we encourage you all both this Friday as well as on game day to dress down, whether you're at home or you're going to the game, to show your support for students with Down syndrome. This is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and so this is an incredible cause. Last year, we worked with ESP. They raised over $5,000 on what they sold. We encourage you to also go to their social media, and you can buy buttons and T-shirts and masks. They have some great ones for you all to choose from. We raised thousands of dollars with them last year. We had 2 governors retweet and thousands participate. And so it's incredibly awesome to see how 2 schools can come together and rally behind a cause that means so much to both schools and both student bodies. And so I think this is absolutely incredible. So if you all have any questions, please don't hesitate. Let me know. We are working around the clock to make sure that this goes off well, and working in conjunction with both university presidents to get a photo op at the game, in addition to working with the governor's offices in the respective states to promote this as well. So if Allison, do you have anything else?
Just that we stand for questions.
Thank you to the authors. Are there any questions for the authors? If so, senators, please indicate by raising your hand and I will call on you. Seeing no questions, I will conclude questions. We now move into debate. Are there any senators wishing to speak for or against this piece of legislation? Seeing none, I will end debate. Do I hear a motion to move into voting?
So moved.
There's been a motion.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to move into voting. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I will move us into voting. The question before us is the passage of Proclamation 3305. Please indicate aye by clicking the green check mark, and please indicate nay by clicking the red X. And just a reminder that if you do not vote at all, it will go on the record, public record, as an abstention. Also, all the people are now like newly confirmed associate justices. You are more than welcome to change your name to associate justice. You don't have to keep it as nominee. Okay. A few more seconds. And with a vote of 45 ayes to 0 nays, the proclamation passes. Congratulations. Okay. That now brings us to the good of the order. Seeing as we've now concluded official business for the night, we'll move into good of the order. Unlike open forum, this is time for senators to make final comments related to senator or not prior to our adjournment. Are there any senators wishing to speak for good of the order? If so, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Senator Harris.
2 things. One, just congratulations to all of the newly appointed associate justices. Welcome to the squad. Happy to have you. You know, it's lit. All right. And also, I have to do my shout out. Dog camp info sessions are open, and I wouldn't be me if I didn't publicize this. So if you're interested, if you like working with first year students and all of that, so go ahead and check that out. We had one today. I believe we have 2 more, and I'm retired now, but I'd be more than happy to talk to anyone about it. And yeah, so check out Dog Camp.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Yeah, if you don't know Senator Harris, the one thing you do know at least that he's a dog camp man. So of course he has to plug that. Okay. The chair recognizes Senator Fatima Niani.
Well, good evening, everyone. As a first-year senator, I think tonight was definitely a learning experience, to say the least. But I really like the way that we were able to have debate and still be really respectful with each other, especially with, with everything that was going on. So, I mean, tonight was really, a really great experience, and I can't wait to see what the next meeting will hold.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that, Fatima. Yeah, I want to say thank you for sticking with us with that on our end, like counting all the votes and stuff like that. I know it was a little slow going. So thank you a lot for hanging in there. Congratulations to our newly appointed associate justices. So thank you for hanging with us and doing that. Zoom just makes some things complicated. One of those things is debate and vote counting. So thank you. And then I also have something from Macy and Matthew, but just like, yeah, thanks again for all your patience and everything. I know they really appreciate it. And I personally really appreciate it too. And it takes some time to record these things. We have to make stuff public. That's like what our role is here during these Senate meetings is just, we're here to facilitate. So thank you for allowing us to do that. Is there anyone else wishing to speak during good of the order? Okay. Seeing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, this Senate meeting of the 33rd Administration of the Student Government Association is hereby adjourned. Thank you.